Okay, I'm going to react to a Tyler Ovliveira video about inside the city that legalized all drugs, which is right off the gate wrong. I'm sure this is going to be a very nuanced and well thought out and considered video about the challenges of the people that live there and how they could be helped and how society leaves them out to dry, and all the things that we could do to help them in addition to making them not criminals. Oh wait, except it's this guy and he's terrible and it's not going to be any of those things. I live in the Lower Mainland. I'm familiar with this issue. I'm very well acquainted with drug policy and addiction and all that stuff. So this is going to be tough for me, I'm sure. Let's fucking go.
This is Vancouver, British Columbia, the epicenter of Canada's overdose epidemic, and we're...
Just to be clear, no. This is Vancouver. It's beautiful. It's lovely. It's rainy and shitty today, right now, but it's a beautiful place, and we could do so much better if we had the political will and a cultural class consciousness. But we don't, so this is what we get.
Drug addicts come to die.
Okay. Oh, this is going to take a long time.
January 2023, British Columbia became the first and only province in Canada to decriminalize small amounts of hard drugs.
All drugs are good and balanced. God made all drugs.
In an
Which is
effort to destigmatize drug use, reduce criminal prosecution, and encourage drug users to seek out medical help.
Look. I'm trying to think of the correct analogy, but it's escaping me. So maybe I'll just use this as its own analogy. It is good to not make people who are sick criminal, because at that point, you are not helping their problem, you are adding to their problems and making it more difficult to solve their primary problem. This is an example of, this is like healthcare. You defund healthcare to the point that it can't work, and then you say, look, public healthcare can't work, that's why we need private alternatives. Yeah, decriminalizing drugs didn't help because you didn't also do all the things necessary to support them. But this is just the...
I mean, these people are insane. They have no life to begin with. Oh, wow. And it's done in the open.
1 year into the experiment, though, BC drug overdose deaths reached record highs, with 7 people dying every day, prompting the government to recriminalize the use and possession of drugs in public in April 2024. But was...
Okay, so obviously this is already conflating a bunch of different things. Decriminalization in general is not the same thing as being overtly more permissible about doing it everywhere.
And with bongs and shiesties available on every corner store.
What is a shiesty?
Infinite drug paraphernalia to use drugs. Do a lot of drug users come in here, buy bong?
Okay, this is very clever propaganda. It is constructed in such a way, it's framed in such a way that it's difficult to respond to it in a contrary way. Yes, crime is terrible. Businesses getting robbed and windows being broken is terrible. And so this frames it in the sense of the problem is the people who are in the neighborhood being criminals, and that is the end of the conversation. When in reality, again, going back to when fucking Harper tried to cuck shame Trudeau for speaking about root causes, that's what you have to get into. The problem is not that these drug addicts are harassing this business. The problem is the structural and systemic things that make the whole neighborhood be that way in the first place, and that keep it that way deliberately. So yes, the problem is not we need to do something about these drug addicts. The problem is we need to do something about why these people become drug addicts, why they hang out in this area, and why they're unable to get any help.
Smoke some fentanyl in it?
I have no idea.
Okay, heard. Do we got gangsters coming in here buying shiesty?
The f is a shiesty? Yeah, a baklava. Okay. So what? Yeah, because we live in a very surveilled society where everybody gets criminalized and punished and arrested for things. And yeah, it's pretty understandable to live in a dystopian hellscape to want to obscure your identity. Why is he focusing on that?
And look at this. We're going to expose them. We got thief.
Yeah,
thief.
it's bad.
Question for you guys.
But that's not the cause. That's a symptom.
Do you guys get boosted from people often?
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes? Do you see it end up right on the streets afterwards?
No, but they can run, that's what happens.
Okay. Do the police do anything?
Yeah, desperate people doing desperate acts.
Right now?
They try to help, but
yeah,
always a little bit late, but they try to help us too, yeah.
Is it like a daily occurrence, would you say?
Once in a while, for sure.
Yeah.
But, you know, it all depends on their activities.
Sure.
So much in drugs, they don't know what they do, that's what happens.
Has it gotten better or worse last 4
Right, they're sick and they need help.
or 5 years?
It's getting worse now.
Once again, it is quite easy to get some drug paraphernalia. And of course, you got the...
So what? Mr. Free market, Mr. In demand, Mr. Supply things? I don't know who this guy is, but I'm... I'm getting an inkling.
Food desert items right here. You got 3 cereal boxes for $15. Knives only $25. All hats only $25. Spend $50 on a bong and torch. Get free butane. 3 butane for only $10. How is it running a
Again, what is the point of drawing attention to that? What is the problem being shown here? I mean, yes, food deserts are a problem. But again, look, problem. No talk about solution, no talk about cause. No talk about how it could be resolved. Just look, problem. Look, the people, the problem. This is very typical right-wing propaganda, is just pointing out the problem and just trying to guide you towards a correct scapegoat. Not trying to fix it, not trying to examine why the problem exists, just pointing to a problem and then pointing to the scapegoat you're supposed to blame for it, who are usually people with no power who aren't responsible for it in the first place.
shop out here? Is it getting a little shiesty sometimes or no?
It is.
It can get crazy?
Yeah.
Are these
Why the focus on the...
like a robbery or what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you get boosted from often?
Yeah.
Yeah. This place is looking pretty dilapidated right now. More bongs. More bongs. Bongs, 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 bongs. It's easier to get a bong out here than it is a monster.
And not to mention...
I don't know what point you're trying to make.
And not to mention needles, foil, and anything else you might need to support your crippling drug addiction. It's almost like nonprofits and NGOs are incentivized to help keep...
Everything you need to support your drug addiction and nothing you need to get off of your drug addiction or to get back into a livable situation. Yes, I agree. There is a big problem. I'm seeing a big problem here. The problem is an absence of supports, not the presence of safe supply, not the presence of things that prevent people from transmitting HIV and killing themselves with... I haven't even talked about the issue of safe supply and that these people don't know what they're doing. I mean, like what's in what they're consuming.
Keep these people addicted to drugs rather than guiding them towards rehabilitation and sobriety.
That's just not true. What did you just say?
Keep these people addicted to drugs rather than guiding them towards rehabilitation.
Right, because of the big profit motive from NGOs in giving away free things. What do you think they're... That makes you really fucking mad. He's slandering a bunch of organizations who are doing their best to reduce harm in the face of a tsunami of bad policy that creates harm.
Rehabilitation and sobriety.
And I've been smoking crack all day.
Oh, shit.
It's not
No, I hear
drugs, it's the drug user.
you. My question, though, is reduce the harm, keep that person alive. But if there's no emphasis on helping that person detox or get into rehab at some point, if you can get acutely poisoned much faster with something like this, then maybe alcohol is my argument. The government's not going out handing out vodka shots, right,
My
to
generation
alcoholics.
didn't face these
What the fuck are you talking about?
problems. I'm
Fentanyl?
56 years old, yeah.
Fentanyl's crazy.
It is. I don't want to go off the deep end on
Yeah.
conspiracy theories.
Please do.
The government controls the drug trade.
Please do. Please do.
Always has. You go back to the East India Trading Company and the Opium Wars. You know, what we did to India and China back in the day,
Yeah,
what
it's
the
terrible.
British Empire did. Why would they ever give up the most valuable commodity on the planet?
Do you think this is the reverse of the opium war?
It's interesting to consider China as the #1 supplier of fentanyl. I don't know that that's true, though. It's good propaganda. So let's make people like me the bad guy. Let's make people like them the bad guy. Let's make the unwanted
see.
middle children the bad guy.
Okay, look. For however many decades, the pharmaceutical industry has been pushing opiates on us. Yes, probably all the way back to opium itself. But then the point, and he talked about alcohol. Alcohol is pushed because it's commercialized, and you don't get free because you get addicted to it, and then you have to do whatever you can to pay for it to make a corporation money. Corporations, pharmaceutical corporations, have been pushing opiates on us for so long and coming up with new variants that have longer lasting and are more potent, and they spent a couple decades unfettered pushing it as the pain solution instead of any other non-addictive solution or any other more effective treatments. And then now we have a situation where all sorts of people are addicted to opiates, and then we go, oh shit, overprescription of opiates is a problem. We better clamp down on distributing opiates. And then what you get is a bunch of people who are now addicted to opiates through no fault of their own, who are then told they can't have opiates anymore. And so they start buying black market supplies. And then they get broke. And then they need to find more effective ways of doing it. And then several steps down the road, they are deliberately looking for fentanyl because it is the most cost-effective way of not getting horrifically sick if they don't take opiates. And then they lose everything to that addiction. And then they wind up here. And then they wind up blamed. and say, well, you never should have fucking done it in the first place.
Yeah, let's discriminate against them. Junkies, homeless,
Like addicts. Yeah.
They'd rather complain about the shit in the f***ing alley than give us a porta potty.
I wish that these people he's interviewing knew what he was doing and knew how they were going to frame them and portray them so they would beat the shit out of him. Because this is so fucking gross. This is so fucking gross. This is so fucking unfair. Oh.
I get your point, right? Why discriminate these people? Why stigmatize these people? But it seems questionable to not stigmatize the drug use, right? Why not stigmatize the activity that's causing people to die, you know?
Well, we're supporting
Because you can't separate those things.
law enforcement agendas by electing these governments and allowing these governments to pursue law enforcement agendas that criminalize drugs. And while doing so, we've created a black market economy that enables terrorists.
What do we have right here?
Sorry, what was that about terrorists? What black market economy? I mean, I don't want to quarrel with the poor people he's interviewing. He's the fucking problem.
Here, is this a little boosted market here? No judgment, just curious.
No, stuff that I own.
You're selling
No judgment, except the whole premise of the fucking video. Yeah, no judgment. No judgment.
On my travels.
Okay.
Well, yeah, because I had to come up with some money to help somebody. She's in big trouble. And I've come up with now $65.
Okay.
And she needs 70.
She's paying off debts, I assume?
You betcha.
How common is that? Because I hear
See this guy with 7 million YouTube subscribers not offering to cover the $5 difference for him.
And she can go sell her ass or whatever, to get some
selling her
money.
body.
Yeah, selling her body or whatever. Yeah, I told her I'd give it till 8 o'clock.
You know what we're going to do? We're going to make it 70. Appreciate you.
Thank you, man.
How are the...
Nice. I have 7 million YouTube subscribers. I'm going to do you a solid and give you $5 while I am using you to make a video to cut right-wing propaganda to demonize drug users. That's terrific. That's mighty white of you. Mighty white of you, yeah.
the streets these days? What's going on?
A lot of gang running.
That's what we hear. A lot of Montreal East Coast gangs have come in.
Now, this is such a bigger issue. What you're seeing here is not a place that is a drug den because of policy that supports drug use. What you're seeing is the bottom of a drain. What you're seeing is in all of society, people have certain vulnerabilities, and we construct society in such a way that we want to let people fall through the cracks and sink down the drain to put the fear in them to be good peasants, right? I am terrified of winding up like these people, and that's why I have to get a job. That's the logic. Now, if we had a system that prioritized health and well-being, and you finish that thought, there are all sorts of ways somebody can be vulnerable. You lose your job. You get addicted to something that you started doing, or you got stuck with because of like pain medication, or you have a terrible family and you have no support systems, or you get sex trafficked, or you get into an abusive situation, or you get into a situation where somebody you trusted steals everything from you and leaves you with nothing. All of those different things slide you down a drain towards this. And if we had a good society, if we had a society that gave a shit about people instead of just perpetuating the massive sucking of resources and wealth from the bottom to the top, there would be any number of resources and programs that were targeted at preventing all the ways that people wind up here. We would have housing first policies. We'd say, if you don't have a home, we'll put you in a home. Because more than anything else, just having stable housing helps these people more than anything else. That's what helps. The ability to plant your feet in the ground and know that I have this space, I am safe, I am secure. Then I have the ability to plan for the future. I have the ability to have an address to go get a job. I have the ability to start thinking about what the future could be, what I could do, instead of just thinking about how am I going to survive today? It's not necessarily about what we do about this situation that occurs here. It's about how do we change society in such a way that all the things that lead people to this place are less and less likely to trap people. But we don't live in that society. We live in a society that the whole point is to suck wealth from the bottom to the top, as it has always been. All society, all civilization from the very beginning has been an elaborate way of securing resources for the few from the many through the labors and efforts and creativity of the broader public.
I don't know about that. There's ones that's been here for all along, so
So local gangs is what you're seeing?
that's what I see.
Is it safe out here?
As long as you don't have big debts that you haven't skipped on.
How long have you lived out in the streets, if I may ask?
I live in,
Oh, you SRO?
Yeah.
How is the SRO? We've heard a lot of different
I was
thoughts.
in a really crappy one for like 16 years. I hated it. It was very unhealthy, unclean. I'm in a cleaner one now, but it's got other crap. The social issues are a little
Sure.
more of an issue.
The safe execution side doesn't.
So single room occupancy are where they took old hotels and converted them into single room occupancy. That's a step, but it's not a comprehensive solution. And the idea of, I mean, he hasn't brought this up, but I've heard people talk about building residences for these people elsewhere, and they don't want to go there because this is their community. This is where they know how to exist. This is where they know the rules of the road.
The unwritten book of the road.
And yeah, they can go somewhere else where they don't know anybody, where they have no supports, where they have no... Shut up.
Do nothing. You know, they say we want to save these people.
Like something like a safe injection site. Suppose you get your leg blown off. A safe injection site is a tourniquet on the main artery supplying blood to your leg that prevents you from bleeding out. It doesn't fix your leg. It doesn't enable you to walk again. It doesn't prevent infection. It doesn't heal your wound. It doesn't fix your life. It prevents you from dying that fucking day. And that's all these programs are for. So you can't blame them for not solving all the other fucking problems. Yeah, go get her.
Harm reduction.
Harm reduction and save their life. You know, they have no life to begin with. I mean, these people are...
But they do. Where? I need my clips. Where are my clips? Sorry. Oh, I mean, I can just... Here. Why don't I... This will edit down perfectly later. And this is why this is here.
I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. My life has value. I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
He says...
Save their life. You know, they have no life to begin with.
They have no life. And the implication is that they should be disposed of, not helped. And that makes me really angry. Because look at this person. Do you not see a person who needs help and not somebody that needs to be done away with? Look at this person, and that person, and that person, and that person, and that person. And don't you just get f***ing angry that we're not f***ing helping them? That we're not just going there and asking, how did you get here? How can we prevent others from winding up like this? But no, it's just a bad element that needs to be swept away.
I mean, these people are insane.
So you think the government's investing in people who are too far gone? Is that kind of what you're saying?
A recovery program.
Some more emphasis on detox, rehab, treatment?
They have to invest on this, you know.
Okay.
And get rid of the safe injection site, or whatever you call it.
Or speaking of which, as we speak, this young man is pulling out the torch, and he is going to light some meth, fentanyl, heroin maybe.
Oh, wow.
All very different things, but doesn't matter.
It's done in the open, exactly. But it's exactly legal in a way, you know.
Where the f*** are you supposed to do it? Probably doesn't have a home. Please just go die in the gutter. You're an eyesore.
Yeah, apparently It's been recriminalized though.
Oh, is that right? But they still do.
Exactly.
And they
still
still
walking by, they don't do anything. So I'm asking folks their thoughts on if the sort of harm reduction is helping.
Because it's not a big problem to other people, and arresting him for it would just make his problems worse.
They're hurting.
It's kind of enabling in a way, but at the same time, it is. It could be run differently. You could put it that way. It would help if it was done properly.
You said us. Do you use anything?
Fentanyl and a little bit of meth here and there. Smoke weed every day though.
How many times have you died?
That's a hard question, man.
That's a crazy question, but every time I ask it, the fentanyl user, they answer
Thousands,
2, 3.
man.
Thousands?
Yeah, not just from dope, from everything in my life, man.
Yeah, what can be done to fix all this? Do you think if someone offered...
And again, they use fentanyl because they have no money and is the most effective way to get the opiates they're addicted to. Unfortunately, fentanyl is very difficult to properly dose, which is why safe supply programs. I mean, you just think about like alcohol. When it was under prohibition, people died from bad alcohol. Like bathtub gin would kill people because it'd turn into some toxic kind. And yeah, there's lots of problems with alcohol and with alcoholism, but because it is a heavily regulated industry, you don't die from a bad batch of alcohol in the same way you do with a bad batch of opiates, or with not knowing exactly what strength of or what ratio of fentanyl it is or whatever. If it was regulated and the production of it was regulated, then they would at least know exactly what they were taking and exactly how to dose it properly. But they don't, because they're just victims. They're just trying to make it through their fucking day, and they're addicted to a substance that if they take the wrong strength one any given day, it might kill them.
You like, yo, you want to get in detox right now? You take them up on it?
No, because I don't think that works, man. You have to be ready. It's your decision.
Right. And when do you become ready? When you have some sense of stability, when you have a home, when you feel safe, when you have a reliable stream of resources or just knowing the food, right? There's a hierarchy of concerns. Like, I was a psychology major, and I'm sure a lot of people know about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but just at a more base level than that. I don't know if any of you have ever been addicted to a drug, but it is all consuming. It is everything. And the idea of trying to stop is so immense that it is completely unreasonable to expect somebody to try to be able to grapple with that when they're trying to figure out how they're going to eat something today, how they're going to get out of the rain, where they're going to shit, for fuck's sakes. You have to have a lot of other things taken care of and secured before you have any option, or before you have any hope of moving on to trying to tackle the immensity of your addiction. So yes, forcing people like this into some sort of God-based treatment program is not going to help anything. What would help this person is to give him a home and say, you have a home. You can stay here as long as you need to. You don't need to pay anything for it. It's modest. It's not a lot. It's not, the Ritz, whatever. You're with a lot of other people who, are in a similar situation, but it's safe, it's clean, it's dry, and it's indefinite. Give that person that, and they'll figure it out. At some point, they'll get stable enough and comfortable enough and secure enough to say, okay, I'm ready to tackle this hardest possible thing I could ever try to do.
You can't help anybody who doesn't want to help themselves, right?
Do you think the housing first approach works? Like, get in the house. Have you seen a lot of people overdose in those houses and the SROs they've been given?
I live in the Molson down on Hastings and Main, right?
Overdose in those houses and the
Look at that. That is a shithole.
SROs they've been given?
I live in the Molson down on Hastings and Main, right in the center of it all. And we've had a few, in the last 2 years. It's going to happen anywhere the drugs are, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
This is, on the one side, you have people who are devastated by what's happening and trying to do anything to help. On the other side, you have people who just want everyone to die. Far beyond the people who, would want better, but are just trying to do anything to help in the immediate moment. You could think about if we could get rid of all the right-wing hogs and we could just sit down with a white paper and say, how can we solve this problem if we had infinite resources and no hogs standing in the way? Yeah, you would have housing freely available where they are in their drug community. And then you would also have housing away from that central drug community. You'd have a graduated process that people could move up as they felt comfortable. You don't want to move right to fucking Langley when the entire world is in the downtown east side. So in the same way that this is the bottom of a drain where people slide and slide and slide down layers and fall through cracks after crack after crack until they wind up here, you need a similar laddered process to get people out of here. You can take this step. It's a minor step. It'll help. It's in your best interest. We're not asking for anything in return. Try this step. And then once they're there, you can say, here's another step you could take. And then here's another step you could take. Again, if we cared, if we had any interest in actually solving this problem.
the drug problem is really bad. I think there's always been somewhat of a problem, but since 2016,
it's not terrible.
It doesn't seem to be getting much better. Hopefully it will.
Do you think the harm reduction has helped people get off the drugs out here, or is it kind of worsened the situation?
Harm reduction is not about getting people off drugs. It's about harm reduction.
I don't know, man. 6 and 1, half and the other, right? I'm coming from a city where the harm reduction is few and far between, and that doesn't help the scene either, right? So it's like, is there overabundance? Maybe, but when it comes to like quick access is quick access, right? The user's going to use, right? No one's getting clean or safe unless they want to, right?
Do you know many people who use
Let's not dwell on that.
safe injection sites out here? Are those pretty good? Or
I've worked that one, yeah.
Yeah?
Actually,
How was that experience?
It's good. I find those to be very helpful, especially for the type of drugs that get used down here. Heavy sedative type drugs. To have a safe injection site's huge for females, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Is this a booster?
Oh God, yeah. Oh
here?
fuck. No, oh my God. Yes, of course. The ones that are heavily sedating, fucking. I mean, I only need to say enough for the implications to.
Because of the implication.
Yeah, a woman taking a heavily sedating drug out on the street, very unsafe.
Because of the implication.
Yeah.
15 years ago, it was like kind of like.
I mean, this is, if anything, a Skinner box.
Heard?
And
did you know that this would be the side effect, the back bending? Like, if there's any kid out there who's trying fentanyl, would you recommend they try xylazine or tranq?
No, never.
How many times have you died out here?
I've got a weird thing. I'm really immune to drugs.
Okay.
I don't overdose. I've been doing it for 30 years.
What's the biggest drug of choice out here right now? Fentanyl?
Probably fentanyl and coke and speed, and there's crackheads everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess my last question
Things
is,
that are
have you
cheap.
had any friends or family die out here you've seen?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The building I live in, every week somebody's bumping off.
Are you in an SRO?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's hell. I got a drug dealer.
You're an SRO?
Yeah.
Affordable. Does that person look like somebody who can afford affordable? No, it should be free, and they should keep making them until they stop having people trying to get into them.
The building I live in, every
But we
week
don't care.
somebody's bumping off.
Are you an SRO?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's
Look at that, it's a shithole.
I got a drug dealer and a hooker girlfriend, and I live in between the two of them.
If you wanted to get sober in an SRO, would it be close to impossible, you think?
Yeah.
Is it just
Yeah,
because
the
you're
way it
closest
is
to
now.
active drug users and drug dealers?
Exactly.
Again, a laddered
Down
approach
here,
to get them out.
No,
I was walking through that tunnel thing over there,
Okay.
and she just beat the living shit out of me, like my eyes.
For no reason.
Well, she wanted my bag, and she's been harassing me for months and months because she's a lesbian. I don't know what her deal was, and I was black and covered in blood, and then the cops were sitting right there, and I was
They don't do
running to
anything,
them, yelling, please help, covered in blood. It stung so bad because the blood and the tears, it really hurts. And the cop was like, well, we're here on something.
Look at how bored he is. Look at how much he's just waiting for it to be finished. That piece of shit.
Past 3 months, it's
do you do, right?
very dangerous. You shoplift.
What can she do? She can shoplift. Can she go to free, safe, secure housing? No, because we don't offer that. Because we don't give a shit. Because we're just waiting for her to die so that she's not a problem anymore.
And you try to not hurt people as much as you can, right?
As I walk through alleys full of limp corpses,
How y'all doing? Hi.
little pop.
Corpses. Not people. People might need help. Corpses just need to be buried. You unbelievable fucking monster. You fucking monster.
Pop-up shops full of stolen goods.
We got a little Chinatown market right here. We got some wares. Take a look at the wares.
And the occasional rat.
Yo, double rat. Damn, you know you're in it when you got rats.
You have to wonder how any of
Fuck
this
does
is
that
really
mean?
compassion. Have we, as a society, just...
I live in a townhouse in a pretty nice neighborhood with a ravine out back. You know, we got mice. Saw a fairly big rat the other day. This doesn't mean that it's
given up on these people and decided that giving them the tools they need to overdose until they finally die is the best option available?
Before I go deeper into East Hastings, in this era of media bias and
Oh,
corruption,
fuck
it's
you,
tough to
you
know
fucking
Baker's saying
whore.
the story. Their media let
Jesus
straight arrow
fucking
every corner
Christ.
of East. Poking it. Boss,
fucking whore.
and .com/Tyler Oliveira for free. Back to the streets. Question for you, boss. You lighting Fent?
Unfucking believable.
Yeah, all right. All right, lighting a little Fent to end the night out here. Hopefully not permanently. What are you smoking at? What is it, Fent?
As anyone with an IQ over 80 that's not in denial can realize that the infinite number of bongs available for sale on nearly every corner of East Hastings are being used for mostly anything but weed or tobacco, you understand that East Hastings is a black hole that gives drug addicts everything they need to destroy themselves.
And nothing they need to help themselves. You fucking moron. People are not doing drugs because there's bongs. The bongs are there to serve a market that is created by the drug use. Ugh.
It was clear that the recriminalization of drug use and possession in public did not seem to observably reduce any of it.
All right, boss, who am I here with?
I'm Derek.
How long you been out here?
Of course, because it's not going to change behavior.
Better or worse since you first got here? Way worse?
Way worse, dude.
How so, boss?
People think it's gory.
They recriminalize it so that fucking Karens could call the cops and have people removed, not to actually change the situation here on the downtown east side.
And their friends, you know, it's pretty bad down here, man. That's life too, right?
What's up? Oh, we're just interviewing folks out here. Bad news?
Yeah.
Like right here or just in general?
In general.
Okay. We're just making sure everyone's cool with it before we roll.
It's your choice, man.
What do you mean? We're peace-loving guys.
Me too, bro.
Okay, all right, we're chilling though. We're trying to talk
Peace-loving
about harm
guys.
reduction and if it's benefiting or hurting folks out here. But I think low-key he's gonna kill us.
Just
maybe,
talking
if
to
we
some
keep
corpses.
goofing around here. Is he chill?
Then he won't do that. He can't do that because I won't let him.
I look across the street. I see
Just
Insight
interviewing some
right
corpses
right?
waiting for them to
Is that a
die.
good thing or a bad thing? What do you think?
It's a great thing. Ever
Great
since
thing.
it's been up, many lives have been saved. I haven't heard of anybody ever OD and pass away in there yet.
Do you think it enables any drug use, or is it mostly all good and helps keep people safe when they do OD?
I think it's a bit of both. It is enabling in some way. It does, right?
Yes,
You
it
know,
enables
drugs happen and everything, and
doing
that's a lot of
safely
parties my mom
drugs
had,
people are
man.
going to do
As soon as I
anyway.
was 19. I was only supposed to go to the dentist here. My appointment was in the afternoon. I got here in the morning, and I thought I'd go meet my mom's friends, and I've been here ever since I was 19 and never left here. Anybody that did that, they were kicked off the block then, but now it's just crazy. But I really want to get clean myself and be down here because I went to school to be.
I'll remind you that fucking Polyevra would take away the safe injection sites. It is an atrocity that we have needed that for 20 years, not that we have had it for 20 years.
Addiction counseling. I had 2 exams and 2 rewrites, and I would have my diploma. I relapsed. That was when my mom passed away, and I want to get clean and be down here and help.
He does not give a shit.
For detox?
You just like content, yeah, content, yeah. I'm kind of bored with this. I think I have enough content from this corpse.
Yeah. Does that do the trank? Yeah.
And I want to, my boyfriend, we want to get married. And then
I might be able to get a trank soundbite out of this corpse.
Yeah.
Straight, you know?
I mean, I hope you get sober one day if that's what you want, you know?
You.
I don't want to see you die.
I'm not going to advocate for anything that would help you do that, or,
Your story can inspire a lot of
stop advocating against all the things that might help. The small resources that do exist.
Yeah, I know. It's a crazy world, right?
Inspire me to.
Yeah. You're gonna do
As a
it?
YouTuber with 7 million subscribers, I'm also not going to give you any money to
I
help
just
you
know
out at all.
See my sweetheart. You have a safe night, okay? That's okay. All right.
Okay.
Well, the harm
Fair enough.
reduction
Was
is
that
theoretically
$5?
here to help prevent overdoses,
Good for
save
you.
lives, and reduce the spread of disease. I can't help but wonder if
I guarantee you, he did not give anyone any money that he didn't film. I'm sure he'd write that off as a business expense if he could.
to copy the Portuguese model if only there was a highly qualified doctor who has studied this issue for the last 20 years that might have a practical solution to treating Canada's drug epidemic.
Landlords aren't going to rent to you.
Obviously, I'm supposed to be reacting, but this is a real person who is saying true things, and I just, there's nothing to say about it. It's just correct.
We randomly assigned people who had been homeless. It
this
turned out
is
for about 10 years.
Housing First. This is universal basic income.
Visual care, which here
This is
in
everything
BC
I was
costs
just
about
yelling 20 minutes
per
ago.
person per year. Shelters, street outreach supports, those kinds of
A
things.
laddered approach.
Then we randomly assign people to the intervention I described, where they're given choices and responsibilities and support. A third condition was people being housed all together. We had 107 people
The
all
SRO.
living together in the same building with a team on site.
That's kind of like the SROs, right?
It's SROs on steroids, though. What if we were to do as we did, shift the incentives, shift the things on the positive side of the ledger
laddered approach.
that would be incentives for change? So yes, you can move into this apartment, but if you're going to move into this, you can't be having dealers and other people over to the apartment to use drugs, because that's going to get you in trouble with your neighbors. Over time, they
This is exactly what I was talking about.
well, gosh, returning to work. One of the things.
Okay, clearly there's no point in me having read this video because this guy is just saying all the same things.
Jail, or you can go through this intensive treatment program. It's going to take about a year, and you must remain drug-free throughout.
No,
They
that's
really
never going to
need
work.
to be separated from drug using and the drug scene urgently
And all of their
immediately
supports
in order to have a good
and
chance of
all of their
survival.
social
What did
connections.
the government do in response to your research?
Government
It
do-
seems like a solution to a lot of problems.
This research built up over 20 years.
You
Several
jackass.
investigators. What I didn't know when I made this recommendation, this presentation,
Was that all of civilization is a vast sucking machine to get money and resources from the bottom to the top, and so we don't want to create a system that would make people less vulnerable to falling into something like the downtown east side because it makes everybody less afraid of not being a good little peasant?
is that the government had already committed financially to a massive expansion of housing people all together and providing them with drugs. 1 week after I made this presentation to deputy ministers, we received a letter from the government ordering us to immediately destroy all of the data and sanitize hard drives. And
So 20 years of work down the drain.
That doesn't sound right. And by doesn't sound right, I mean, I literally cannot believe that it is exactly as described here.
I mean, massive data holdings covering like about 250,000
Which makes me
people.
suspicious.
Would have effectively helped anyone.
I can see ignoring data. I can see firing people generating that data. But I would need to see evidence if I'm to believe that the government would order honest, good research destroyed for no particular reason. That's very suspicious.
Situation currently.
It's a very suspicious accusation.
In BC, they were able to engage people through dissuasion.
Boy, I wish the rest of his video had been shot and framed and contextualized in the context of the conversation he's having now, instead of being inflammatory and talking about walking over corpses, and just talking about how all the things that had been done are just making the problem worse. I wish he had mentioned before talking to this person any of the things he has learned about how it could be made better, instead of just being propagandistic and, what's the word, sensationalist.
Commissions. If what you're chiefly concerned about is reducing the transmission of diseases, then a consumption site will help achieve that. But that's pretty much all it's going to achieve.
And here's what they look like inside.
Hi, sorry.
Oh, sorry, I'll get mine.
Yep, you want to come with me, guys?
I don't know if I feel fully comfortable, but...
Have you been here before?
No.
Okay, what's your handle? What do you call yourself?
Tyler.
Tyler,
Yeah.
come on in, Tyler.
Okay.
You can come take a
Jesus
This
Christ.
is your first time.
Okay.
We do not let people do this, okay? Because you're not allowed to look at people who are privately doing something. Okay. And then you gotta go.
Okay.
That's what you get.
Oh, I thought.
Unless he wants.
Oh, I thought.
Unless he wants to keep people. No, he just wanted to have a look.
Okay.
So we don't do that.
Okay, all right, thank you.
But
Ah,
you're welcome.
bastard.
If you want, we have a table open if you feel comfortable.
All right. Okay.
Come on
Thank
back.
you. Okay.
These
Rather than a means to an end, it became the end in and of itself.
Which you're not advocating or talking about outside the context of this interview.
Became protective of that.
Tell me about some of these bad actors.
But they're only bad actors if you have a critical view of capitalism. For instance, if you and I are running a global pharmaceutical company and we look around, the U.S. and other countries, and we see that there are these mandatory disclosure laws, Sunshine Act, and things like that about if we were to pay doctors to do things. But if we look up in Canada, we don't have laws like that.
Okay.
It's voluntary. When we have people who are currently in crisis as we do now, we need to fast track everything that we know we can do to enable social reintegration.
Yes.
And
So this guy's just saying all the shit
people
I've already
with
said.
Lives that inherently matter to them, are inherently valuable. We're already committed to a model that we know is not performing well. It's not only the scientific evidence, it's the evidence in our communities.
So go for a walk.
Go for a walk.
Yeah.
It's clearly not working, right? Let's have the courage to admit that we've made some mistakes, and let's have the courage to shift our direction.
I wish that man knew how he was going to be used and misconstrued, and I can only fucking imagine what this is. So that's my hour of hate for today. I'm going to look up this man and ask him for more details on him saying his research had to be destroyed, because I don't buy it. And if it's true, I want to go absolutely incendiary apoplectic about it. I can believe and understand if hate, the negating and ignoring of evidence of how things could be done better, but the ordering the destruction of research is something that needs to be, aggressively responded to, let's say. So with that, I will say, be kind to each other. I know it can be hard.